Welcome to the first Life LDC coffee table episode. Here I'm going to share with you my works in progress I've made, progress I haven't made, my anything new that I've cast on. I'm going to try and keep those to a minimum since I'm trying to stay semi-monogamous with my projects, and anything quick and new that I might want to share with you. Hope you grab a cup of coffee or tea and join me. You might even see what my coffee table really looks like. The first project I want to share with you is what I'd call my vintage project. It's the Earth Stripe wrap. It's a Cave facet design. It's the cover of Rowan Magazine 42. I saw it, I loved it, I resisted it for many years. I waited until a couple of the colors were discontinued. One day I was in my local yarn store and the owner there had made up a kit. She'd substituted a couple of shades, but I thought, oh, I better get this. If I'm ever going to do this, I have to get it now, because only more shades will be discontinued in the future. So I bought it. I came home and I proceeded to search Ravelry and obtain the two missing shades. So now I have all the original shades and I was a happy knitter. I've made a bit of progress on my Earth Stripe wrap. I love knitting with Kid Silk Haze, and knitting with two strands together makes the gauge a little bit more practical. It also is a bit of a challenge in that you have to catch both strands on each stitch. Easy way to check on that is every inch or so is to hold it up to the light and see if you can see an area that looks thinner, and if it's just a few rows down, you can ladder back and fix it, but if it isn't, you just have to do a little repair. Don't worry, nobody will notice. The shades are absolutely gorgeous. Love them. Of course, they're Cave, so they're shades that you would never think of putting together, but by blending them, by knitting two strands together, they just all go together beautifully. There is a bit of a backstory to this. I was on vacation in the UK when magazine 42 came out, and I just loved this, but even then you couldn't find all the original shades. But I was in John Lewis and they had a sale on Kid Silk Haze, and I thought, why not? I'll just buy a whole bag of colors of Kid Silk Haze and I'll start stranding them together and see what I come up with. I was inspired by the scarf initially, but I also loved this tunic. Definitely not my shape and style, so I just decided, okay, I'll just stick with the scarf. I knit. I had a huge long scarf going by the time I got back, and my knit buddy said to me, oh, you can't possibly just make a scarf out of that. So I ended up knitting 4 scarves, putting ever so subtle shaping into them at the neckline, and sewing them together to make this oversized Cave coat. More colors, more Cave. I think there's something like 30 shades of Kid Silk Haze in here. The one thing I did too, because I'm not Cave and I was worried about changing colors up, I used a really dark brown with every shade that I used, so that kept it harmonious. And I love this coat. I wear it all the time. It's like wearing a hug. The second project that I want to share with you, I'm going to call it my epic project. I love Fair Isle, and so I thought it would be a great idea to participate in Marie Wallen's first Fair Isle Club, which was going to be 12 squares of Fair Isle done over the period of a year. Yeah, should have been easy. But of course, I got dragged off into other things. So I think this is square number 6. I'm knitting them in the round. I keep all the yarn for one square in my Namaste project bag. But in here I have my completed project squares. was number 1. Doing them in the round, I have I've cut the edges, so I have ends, but they are, you know, they're going to be, I could just cut them off now because I have a steek seam edging. So that was number 1. Not sure if this was 2 or 3, but anyway, you get the picture. Gorgeous shades. It came with a lovely project bag. I never can use these things, I have to save them, so eventually I will use that. But because I knit them in the round, I get the pleasure of cutting them open, and it's like magic. You know, you take this tube with a little snip of the scissors, you end up with a flat piece of fabric. So I've got 2 more here that need to be cut, and so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm on number 6, so I'm almost halfway there. But I'm going to be like the tortoise and the hare here. I'm going to be the tortoise, and I'm just going to plug along and really enjoy this whole thing. The last project I want to share with you today is my current, sort of my everyday project. It's from Marie Wallen's first independent design called Windswept. This is a beautiful collection, and a lot of people have knit the design that I'm knitting right now. It's the Lovage design. There are many Lovage projects shown on Ravelry, and I really enjoyed the ones that had a dark shade as the body, the solid color shade. So I delved into my minuscule, maybe not so minuscule, stash of Rowan fine tweed. Love these little balls of yarn, and came up with my own colorway. Sometimes I keep projects in these boxes that I get at Michael's. I wait for them to be on sale and get them at half price, because they can hold all your yarn, and the book fits in there. Everything's here when I need it. So here's my Lovage. I'm converting it to knit from the top down. So I started with the neckline instructions, and I'm working down. I'm going to do the yoke part, because it's the fun part, right? I'm going to do it first, and then I'll be able to custom fit the body and the sleeves to my personal measurements. So here's my selection. There's my body shade. That's Askrig. And I've got a few shades in here that maybe I'm not going to use in the final one, but they're in there just in case something strikes me. So what I'm going to do right now is I'd like to show you what this looks like, and I've been meaning to do this myself. I'm going to take it off and put it on a holder so that I can give it a slight press and we can see what it really looks like. For this, I'm going to use the Coco Knits leather cord and needle stitch holder kit. I saw this, thought it was cute. Since I'm not buying yarn, doesn't mean I can't buy accessories, right? So this will be the first time I use it, and I'll show you what my knitting looks like once I've got all the stitches on this cute little leather band. Okay, so that was fun. Always read your instructions first. The instructions indicate to hold the needle tip in your right hand the leather cable cord in your left and twist with your right. Of course, I'm left-handed, so I was thinking about doing things opposite. Anyway, we got there in the end. We put 396 stitches on this 59-inch cable cord, which is making me wonder just how big this is. So the great thing about having them on this cord is I can now go away, give this a little press, and I think I'll put on a t-shirt and see, put it over top and see what this actually looks like. So stay tuned. So here's the yoke. I've put it on. When I first put it on, I had it pulled forward, and I felt there was too much room or space or stitches here. But when you look at the pattern, there's no neckline shaping at all, and it's a wider neck. So I pulled it back a bit, and I think that gives me the shaping that I want here. I'm hoping that when the sleeves are attached, that the weight pulls this down, and that there is no, well, not too much anyway, extra fabric here. You don't want it too tight, but you don't want it too loose either. I like the look of the shades. This is the first time I've actually put it on. The Cocoa Knits stitch holders worked great, and the wonderful thing about this is when I go to put this back on my regular needle, I can just follow the next row of pattern and actually knit it back on off of these little needles, because they don't matter. It's the needle you're knitting with that's going to give you the gauge. So this way you don't have to transfer them back. You can just knit it right on. So I'm happy with that. Thank you very much, Cocoa Knits. So that's it for me today. My very first coffee table update, and I'm hoping that by including you in my plans that'll keep me on track, and you can remind me every once in a while if I haven't shown you something in a while. So have a great day, everybody, and that's it from Life LDC.